Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and every single grocery store in your city has empty shelves, gas stations have lines stretching for miles with nothing left to pump, pharmacies can't fill prescriptions, and the food in your refrigerator is all you have for the next 2 weeks. This isn't a zombie apocalypse scenario. This is what happens when supply chains collapse, and right now in 2025 we're closer to this reality than most people realize. The warning signs are flashing red. The system is more fragile than ever, and when it breaks, your life will change in ways that will shock you. What I'm about to reveal will fundamentally alter how you see the modern world because the just-in-time delivery system that feeds our cities is hanging by a thread, and that thread is about to snap. If you want to understand what really happens when supply chains fail and how to protect yourself and your family before chaos erupts, hit that subscribe button right now and smash that like button. Drop a comment telling me if you've noticed supply chain problems in your area. Subscribing helps us bring you more videos about the real-world risks and how to prepare, because this information could save your life. Here's what most people don't understand. Modern cities only have about 3 days' worth of food supply at any given moment. Grocery stores operate on just-in-time inventory systems, meaning they stock exactly what they need for immediate sales with minimal backup. Warehouses maintain lean inventories to reduce costs, and the entire system depends on constant truck deliveries arriving like clockwork every single day. When you walk into a supermarket and see fully stocked shelves, you're looking at an incredibly fragile illusion. Remove the trucks for 72 hours, and those shelves become bare wastelands. Remove them for a week, and cities face potential starvation. This isn't exaggeration. This is documented reality from every supply chain disruption in modern history. The first thing that happens during a supply chain collapse is panic. Buying begins almost instantly. People see empty shelves in one section and immediately start hoarding everything else. Social media explodes with images of bare stores. News coverage amplifies the fear, and within hours, every store in the region gets swarmed by desperate shoppers. We saw this during COVID-19 lockdowns in 2020. Toilet paper vanished, rice and pasta disappeared, canned goods evaporated from shelves, and fights broke out over basic necessities. But C-19 was just a preview. A real supply chain collapse would be exponentially worse because trucks wouldn't be coming to restock anything. The cascade effect is what makes this truly catastrophic. When truckers can't get fuel because refineries lack chemicals from overseas, when warehouses can't operate because workers can't get to work, when ports shut down because equipment breaks and replacement parts are stuck on ships, when factories close because they're missing one critical component from halfway around the world, everything stops simultaneously. One broken link doesn't just affect one product, it affects thousands of products across dozens of industries, creating a domino effect that accelerates faster than anyone can control. Your daily life transforms into a survival scenario within the first week. Grocery stores are completely empty, restaurants close because they have no ingredients, fast food chains shut down entirely, and the only food available is whatever people hoarded or grew themselves. Gas stations run dry because refineries can't get crude oil or the trucks can't deliver fuel. Suddenly your car becomes useless. You can't drive to work, can't evacuate the city, can't reach family members. Public transportation stops because buses and trains have no fuel, and millions of people become stranded wherever they are when the system fails. Medical emergencies become life-threatening crises. Hospitals run out of critical medications within days. Most pharmaceuticals are manufactured overseas with complex supply chains requiring dozens of components from multiple countries. When those chains break, insulin becomes unavailable for diabetics. Heart medications vanish, antibiotics disappear, cancer treatments stop, and people with manageable chronic conditions face death sentences. Hospitals also run out of basic supplies like IV bags, surgical gloves, bandages, and sanitation products. Medical staff become overwhelmed, and the healthcare system collapses under the weight of emergencies it cannot handle. Sanitation infrastructure fails faster than most people imagine. Garbage collection stops because trucks have no fuel. Within 2 weeks, cities become buried in rotting waste. Disease spreads rapidly. Water treatment plants fail because they lack chemicals to purify water. Suddenly, tap water becomes dangerous to drink. Sewage systems back up because pump stations lose power and can't get replacement parts, and cities transform into medieval conditions with waste in the streets and contaminated water supplies. Social order deteriorates as desperation reaches critical levels. crime explodes immediately, stores get looted within the first 48 hours, home invasions spike as people search for food and supplies, armed robberies become commonplace, and neighborhoods form vigilante groups for protection. Police forces become overwhelmed and understaffed because officers are dealing with their own family emergencies. Many simply abandon their posts to protect their own families, leaving large areas completely lawless. We've seen this pattern in every major disaster from Hurricane Katrina to the Argentina economic collapse. Civilized society is only about 9 missed meals away from complete chaos. Government response proves inadequate for the scale of the crisis. FEMA emergency supplies are designed for regional disasters, not nationwide collapse. Military food reserves exist, but distributing them to 330 million people without functioning supply chains is impossible. Emergency powers get declared, martial law gets imposed in major cities, curfews go into effect, and soldiers patrol streets trying to maintain order. But when the entire infrastructure has failed, no amount of government intervention can instantly rebuild complex global supply chains. The economic devastation extends far beyond immediate survival needs. Businesses shut down permanently because they can't get inventory. Millions lose jobs overnight. The stock market crashes as investors realize the scale of the catastrophe. Currencies lose value rapidly because economic activity has stopped. Barter systems emerge as people trade goods directly, and the entire financial system that depends on functioning commerce grinds to a halt. Your savings become worthless if there's nothing to buy, your investments evaporate as companies fail, and wealth means nothing when survival becomes the only priority. But here's what the prepared minority understands: maintaining a 3-month supply of non-perishable food, storing water and water purification methods, having backup power sources, keeping a first aid kit with essential medications, building community networks with neighbors, learning basic skills like gardening and food preservation, and understanding that modern convenience is a privilege that can disappear instantly. The people who studied the 2021 Suez Canal blockage, the COVID supply disruptions, the semiconductor shortages, and the fertilizer crisis saw the patterns emerging. They recognized the system's fragility, and they took action while others remained complacent. If you found this information valuable, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to this channel for more videos about real-world risks and practical preparation, and share this with everyone who needs to wake up to these realities. Because supply chain collapse isn't a distant threat, it's a mathematical certainty given enough time. And the difference between those who survive and those who suffer will be determined by who prepared and who ignored the warnings. The supply chain system is more fragile than it's ever been. The dependencies are global and complex, and one major shock could bring it all crashing down. Don't be caught unprepared when that day comes.